I just learned the numbers in Japanese, and it was pretty easy, to be honest. I'm going to show you how I did it so that you can use this technique to learn the numbers in Japanese or any other language that you're learning. I know that a lot of people struggle with numbers when learning a foreign language. I used to struggle with numbers before I discovered this technique. So I want to help you learn numbers faster and more easily. How do we learn numbers? Obviously, we use mnemonics. Context is good to review numbers, but it's going to be very, very slow. If you expect to learn all the numbers or enough numbers just by seeing them in context, that's going to take insane amounts of input, and you don't have the time for that. Maybe you do have the time for that, but and you probably should do that anyway, but it's going to be much easier if you do this first, because you recognize them when you hear them the first time instead of having to see them or hear them in context over and over again. So basically what we need to do is create a mnemonic for each number. And the way I do this is quite simple. I've got a sound that I associate to each one of the numbers, one of the digits, rather, not each one of the numbers. So um, 0 is an R sound, R sound. I guess if I say R the British way, it's not very clear. R or R sound for this one. A T or a D sound for the 1. N sound for the 2. M for 3. K sound or R. There are some sounds that you can put together. Like you can turn a K into a H or a H even. This one's an L or Lle in Spanish, like double L. This one is an S. Although it could be a C or a Z in English. Fe as well. Could be this one in Spanish. Fe. In Spain, Spanish. They don't have that in Latin America. This one is an F. This one is so F sound. This one is a chair, and I'm going to explain why. And this one is a B or a V sound. And well, we don't need a sound for this one because we already have all the digits, right? So you just have to remember that. If you can't remember that, I just created a mnemonics folder inside natural language learning with all the materials and different worksheets you can use mnemonics more effectively with this. This technique is very effective for numbers in general, by the way. It's not only for learning numbers in a foreign language, it's extremely effective to learn lists of things. I'll show you later. Lists of things, items, formulas, laws, things like that. If you want to memorize the Constitution, all the articles and amendments and things like that by the number, or dates of events, things like that, it's really useful for all those things. But now let's focus on learning numbers in Japanese or in any language. By the way, I created audio files for this as well. So now I've got an audio file next to this in the Japanese file. So if you're learning Japanese, you can download it and binge listen to it. After doing the mnemonics, it's a very good and easy way to review the list just by listen. I think it's 5-6 minutes of audio with all these numbers. So you just listen to it 0 to 100 again and again, and then after 100, I've got lots of random numbers. So this is R, this is T, this is N, this is M, this is K sound, L, etc. So what we need to do next is find a word that sounds like those. And for me, because I've been doing mnemonics for a long time, I've got every number from 0 to 100, and some of them even not all the way to 1,000. Some people do it, but I usually just combine them. So this is a uh, this is a R sound, right? So we need a word that has an R sound in. I learned this in Spanish, this technique. So for me, it's oro, which is gold. Yeah, there's a r there. This one is T sound. This one is either uno or noe, just noa, or hun in Spanish. It really depends on which one goes better in the association we'll create later. This one is Mao, Chinese uh, dictator, easy to visualize with his funny haircut and stuff. This one is KO, K sound. This one is L, Leo, guy I know. This one is S, Oso, which is Burr in Spanish. This one is F, UFO, UFO, or um, Feo could be as well, ugly in Spanish. You get the idea. So then we visualize those things, and if you don't speak Spanish, you in whatever language you speak, you take those sounds and you find a word that has that sound, and then we visualize something that sounds like these things. Like this is Roku, visualize the rock. Dwayne Johnson. This one was also, remember, the bear. So you just visualize him getting mauled by a bear. But the rock always gets he yeah. If he watches my videos, like my mnemonics don't end up well for him sometimes. Yeah, he gets mauled by a bear. So mauled by a bear. So it's also rock easy. Uh, this one Mao San. This here I visualize a guy whose surname starts with San that I know. You should use people that you know. That is easy to visualize. So I visualize that guy. So if you know someone who's called San something, uh, yes, that's it. You've got a mnemonic. So I visualize that guy, and he's got like a Justin Bieber hair. The guy I know. So instead, I visualize him with the like goofy looking Mao hair and wearing the Chinese communist uniform and in a parade with the flags, there's flags and the tanks and stuff. Yeah, it's kind of funny, easy to visualize. Um, I didn't even remember some of the mnemonics I did. I did I did this earlier in the day. I remember the numbers, but not the mnemonics. Sometimes the mnemonics just fade away after a while. But yeah, I did it with the whole thing. And basically, after the first nine, then what you have to do is simply combine the sounds. So this is te and this is re, right? So 10 is toro for me, which is bull in Spanish. Then ju, uh, yeah, I visualize jumbo, which is a plane, kind of plane, a big passenger plane. And I visualize that plane with a bull, toro, as a pilot. Does it sound stupid? Would Dr. Something Jones not like it? Whatever, it works. I remember it. This. This is TT, something with two T's. I'll let you think. So yeah, this is your homework. You go through the whole list. Again, this is a R sound, this is a T or D, this is an N, this is an M, this is a K sound, L, S, F, Ch sound, uh, B or V, P sound as well, you could use here. And then you combine them. And you do it with every single one of these. The more you do it, the easier it gets. Then you have to find words, not works, words that are similar to these ones, and you create a story with the whole thing. I promise you, it gets easy. It gets easy after some practice, right? So yeah, you just have to keep doing it with a bunch of them. And for numbers, you see that well, it's pretty easy to see that there are patterns here, right? This is Nissan is 2000. So do we have a visual for Nissan, yeah, Nissan, a car, for example, and we do that with 2000, something for 2000. And that's it. We've associated with Nissan, and then there was, yeah, like this one's this one's good. For example, itchy man, like itchy, someone's itchy, like it's been stung by mosquitoes or something, and man, come on, it's super easy to visualize. And then 10,000, there are several things you can do with 10,000. You can break it up, but 10,000 or any of these longer words, you can just break them up into one or two digits. So you can use the, so yeah, this would be Toro, this would be Raro, and then Oro, for example. So it'd be Toro, Raro, Oro, or Toro, Oro, Raro, which is the same. So bull, gold, weird, Raro. And then Ichiman. And you visualize everything. And things like weird, you should have a visual for that. Think of something that's weird, and you always think of that thing as whenever weird comes out up. So like 00 in my case. Obviously, if you do it in English, it's not Raro, but yeah, you get the idea. You should have an image for, not for this like words are this big, but for everything up to like double digits. Yeah, you should have a good mnemonic for each one of them. Like this one is Bobo for me. Bobo is like someone who's dumb. In this B and B, so Bobo. So in Spanish, Bobo is dumb. So yeah, just I've got one guy who I always think of when not gonna tell him. I'm not gonna tell him that, but this is one guy I always think of. It's like my image for Bobo is that guy who's I know that's kind of dumb. So whenever there's a 99, or whenever there's I don't know this one. Yeah, and I don't have them for all of them, but like this one is facha, for example, which is fascist, slang for fascist in Spanish. Like F and then, oh no, sorry, this one. Um, yeah, this one is F and S, so this is fosso, like molt. This one is FF, so fofo, which is like, what's the word? Like pudgy. Someone who's not in shape, like saggy. Saggy is, yeah, easy to visualize as well. And you just have to keep doing it with all of them. And the more you do it, the easier it gets. All right. And once you've done it with a bunch of them, like 1 to 100, and then a bunch of these, it's just if you know how to say 1,000, and if you know how to say, uh, well, no 1,000, but like 1,000. So like, what does 7,000 sound like? What does 6,000 sound like? Okay, Rokusen, Nanasen, Hasen, and then you just have to listen to the thing over and over again, and that's it. Um, just with it, if you just did the mnemonics and then never looked at the numbers ever again, you probably remember some, but forget a lot of others, and you struggle to form numbers. Like if you have to think of 6,500, and I have to think a lot now, even if I know the numbers. But after listening to it's 5 minutes of audio, so I'll listen to it a couple times a day for the next 10 days, and I'll remember all the numbers easily. And that's it. That's how you learn the numbers. Any questions you've got about this? Let me know in the comments. All right. More updates soon on how Japanese is going.